Okay, imagine this for a second. It's a quiet Sunday afternoon. Maybe people are out enjoying a game of golf, maybe watching some rugby nearby. And then just completely out of the blue, something awful happens. A plane, literally moments after it's taken off, banks hard left, flips over, and just plummets straight down. Ends in this huge fireball.
Yeah. It's one of those moments, isn't it, where everything just stops. A perfectly normal scene becomes, well, a major crisis scene instantly. So many questions pop up.
Exactly. And that sudden, horrifying picture, that's pretty much what actually happened just recently at London's Southend Airport.
So today on the deep dive, we're gonna try and unpack the initial reports around this. It's obviously a very serious incident.
Right.
We've looked at reports from places like AP News, People.com, some local reporting too. Our aim here is really just to pull together the key bits of information, distill what we actually know so far about the crash and what happened right afterwards.
Makes sense. There's always a lot of noise initially, so getting the facts straight is crucial. Absolutely. So let's start by just laying out the immediate facts, the what, when, where. This happened on Sunday, July 13th, 2025. It was around 4 p.m. local time, so British summertime.
Okay.
And the location was London Southend Airport, which is about 35 miles east of central London, roughly.
Southend. Now, the aircraft itself is pretty significant here, I think. It was a Beechcraft B-200 Super King Air.
Okay.
That's a turboprop. So propeller-driven. These planes are generally seen as real workhorses, very reliable, especially for the kinds of routes this one seemed to be flying. Makes the incident perhaps even more puzzling initially.
Interesting. And who was operating it?
It was operated by a Dutch airline, Zeusch Aviation. And here's a really key detail. The aircraft was specifically set up for medical transport.
Ah, okay. Medical transport.
Yeah. And that detail, it immediately sparks questions. What was on board? Any special equipment? What exactly was the mission? These could all be important factors later on in understanding what happened.
Definitely. And do we know its flight path?
We do know some of it. It seems it had flown in from Athens and then Pula before landing at Southend.
Right.
And its destination after Southend was Lelystad, back in the Netherlands.
Got it. So moving from the plane itself to the crash, the actual moments it happened.
Yeah.
This is where those eyewitness accounts become so vivid and important, even if harrowing.
Absolutely. They paint the initial picture.
So the reports say the crash happened shortly after takeoff. Witnesses describe this really terrifying sequence. They saw the plane bank sharply left, then completely flip over invert and fall, quote, head first into the ground.
Wow, head first.
Yeah, and witnesses say as soon as it hit, it just erupted into a massive fireball. Sent this thick black smoke way up into the sky.
It's often the case with these things. Those first accounts from people on the ground, they can be incredibly raw, obviously very emotional, but they often turn out to be quite accurate in describing the basic dynamics of what happened.
Right.
Long before investigators get to the flight recorders, those descriptions give them vital clues about the plane's final movements. It really shows how observant people can be, even under extreme stress.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you'd imagine, the emergency response was huge, and it was fast.
Immediate.
Essex Police, multiple fire crews, ambulance units, they even scrambled an air ambulance. Everyone got there very quickly. And because of the scale of the danger, they took precautions, evacuating nearby places like the Rochford 100 Golf Club and Westcliff Rugby Club.
Yeah, that really highlights how serious they viewed the situation right from the start.
Definitely.
And that kind of rapid multi-agency response is standard procedure, really. Secure the scene, deal with any casualties, stop things from getting worse.
Yeah.
Which brings us to, well, the really difficult part. The casualties.
Yeah.
As of the initial reports we're looking at, the number of casualties has, sadly, not been confirmed. That's the official line at this stage.
Right. Still unknown.
Exactly. The crash is being officially treated as a serious incident, and the investigation, it's already well underway. It's being led by Essex Police alongside the UK's Air Accidents Investigation Branch, the AAIB.
The AAIB, right. They handle all major air accidents in the UK.
Precisely. They're the experts who will really dig into the why.
And beyond the immediate crash site, what about the airport itself? Big impact there, I assume.
Oh, absolutely. Southend Airport was shut down pretty much immediately and until further notice. That meant, multiple flights grounded, passengers stranded.
Right.
The advice for anyone affected was just to check directly with their airline, a clear knock-on effect.
So looking ahead now, what are the next steps for the investigators? What are they focusing on?
Well, the immediate focus is always on gathering information, all of it. That means painstakingly examining the crash site itself, that's the site forensics, looking for physical clues on the ground, and of course, retrieving and analyzing the aircraft's flight recorders, the black boxes. Those are absolutely vital for understanding the sequence of events, the plane's performance, the cockpit environment.
Black boxes, yeah.
Crucial.
Hugely important. And alongside that, they'll still be working to confirm the situation regarding casualties. We expect updates on that as official briefings come out. But for now, the airport stays closed while that initial critical phase of the investigation happens.
Okay, so let's try and summarize where things stand based on these initial reports. It's a grim picture, obviously, and it's still developing. But what we know is a Beechcraft Super King Air, configured for medical transport, took off from London Southend Airport around 4 p.m. last Sunday. Shortly after takeoff, witnesses saw it bank violently, invert, and crash, causing a large fire.
Right.
Emergency services responded immediately and in force. The airport is closed. And critically, the number of casualties is still unconfirmed at this stage, while the AAIB leads the investigation into this serious incident.
That's a good summary of this initial phase, this sort of snapshot stage, based on the first reports. It's incredibly important, of course, but as you said, it's still just the beginning. The real deep understanding comes later. It's not just what happened, but crucially, why it happened. And moving from these first facts to the why, well, that involves a really methodical, layered investigation, piecing together the data, the forensics, the human factors. That's the huge task the AAIB has just started.
Yeah, it really underscores how complex these events are, even when the initial moments seem tragically clear from eyewitness accounts.
Exactly. It's rarely straightforward.
And that's a really important point to remember. These initial reports, what we've discussed today, they're really just the prologue, aren't they? The start of a much longer, more complex story that needs to be uncovered.
Absolutely.
Which kind of leads us to a final thought for you, the listener, to maybe mull over. What does it actually take to get from labeling something a serious incident, based on these early reports, to achieving a full, complete understanding of why an air accident happened? It's a process that goes so much deeper than what we've talked about today, isn't it? Into the data, the mechanics, the human element. If you were an investigator starting this process, what questions would you want answered first to start piecing together